Hello and welcome to a Leicester versus Manchester United preview. We've got lots to talk about. I'm going to give you some stats, head-to-heads. I'm going to give you my starting lineup that I would pick, and yeah, just talk more about the game and give you a prediction on the result as well. So first and foremost, let's get into some stats, shall we? Because Leicester are in horrendous form. Obviously, rock bottom of the Premier League. United have got 2 wins on the bounce, got a bit of confidence going forward. Hopefully you can have another win as well. They've even lost last week to a 10-man Chelsea side. It was 0-0 when Gallagher got sent off after 20-odd minutes. They had almost the entire game played with 10 men and they still managed to get the win. That's just how little confidence that Leicester have got. Especially, they have won a game. That was in the Carabao Cup against Stockport. And that had to go to penalties. Going to penalties against bloody Stockport to get your only win. It is a completely dire situation for Leicester. And this could potentially be Brendan Rodgers' last game. They've got 3 losses in a row in the Premier League, and that is the worst streak of for Leicester since Ranieri got sacked as manager, which was a 5-loss streak. But with Manchester United coming up, it could be 4 losses. They've got Brighton the week after away from home. Those are really, really difficult fixtures. It could equal that 5 if it gets that far. I think his job is really, really in jeopardy if they do lose against United. But, I mean, he hasn't really been backed in the win. Well, he hasn't been backed at all. There's been 0 transfers, 0 incomings or significant incomings, and they've just lost Fofana for 70 million to Chelsea. So it's not looking good, bruv, is it, for Brendan Rodgers? In the United don't traditionally do well at King Power, don't traditionally do well against Leicester City. They've got no win in 5 matches against Leicester, and the last win, if you can remember, it's quite a memorable game because Jesse Lingard. It was the final day of the season. If Leicester won that, in fact, Manchester United were 5th going into that game. I think this was back in 2020. Man United were 5th going into that game at the King Power. Leicester were 4th. It was for Champions League football. We ended up winning that 2-0. Jay Ling's got the hello, there we go. Jay Ling's got the final goal of the season, and yeah, we secured Champions League football. So that is our last win against Leicester. I think in terms of how the game's going to go, I think it's really important for us because Leicester lack so much confidence. I think it's really important for us to get an early goal. Let's not allow them to build confidence. Let's not allow them to have a good couple of opportunities, get the crowd up off the feet. Let's go out there like we did against Liverpool, smash them in the first 10 minutes, get a goal, and then I think their confidence will be destroyed. We've seen with Manchester United, when their confidence is very, very fragile with United, we can crumble within the space of 5 or 10 minutes. We only need 1 goal and then we completely collapse, or United in the past have completely collapsed. Hopefully not this United. Hopefully this is a new United with a spine, with a backbone. But we've seen with teams that lack confidence, just not getting that early, not conceding that early goal is really important. As far as the starting lineup, goes, you can see over on my shoulder here. This is what I would go with. Okay, obviously the back 4, it picks itself, doesn't it? And David in goal. Dubravka, come on. He's a second choice goalkeeper, isn't he? It's an odd one because I would have quite liked a keeper to come in to challenge De Gea. But Dubravka, if I actually looked at his stats on FB Ref or whatever you call it, and he's actually got worse worse attributes with the ball at his feet. His stats are worse with the ball at his feet. He launches the ball more frequently than what De Gea does. He's got a worse short pass accuracy than De Gea, so he's not the type of goalkeeper that would come in, be better with the ball at his feet, and therefore challenge De Gea because this new progressive pass out from the back style of football that Ten Hag wants to play. He's more adept to that. It's completely different. The back four, other than that, like I say, completely picks itself. Will we see 3 man of the match performances from Martinez in a row? I actually saw a stat recently that said that compared Van Dijk and Martinez since the start of the season. And Martinez, 5'9", he's won more aerial duels than Van Dijk so far. So, you know, doesn't seem to be a problem. My guy can leap like a salmon, so it doesn't matter that he's short. Malacia, unreal. I mean, he could be our best signing just based on the amount of money that we did pay for him. No, everyone expected him to be under the radar. I expected him to be backup left back for Luke Shaw. Maybe that was the idea going into the season, but he's definitely proved his worth, staked his claim for the starting 11, and yeah, hopefully when Luke Shaw does get an opportunity to come back into the team, it's a little bit like the Tellez Luke Shaw situation, where Luke Shaw actually performed really well. But for the time being, Malacia looked absolutely fantastic, so he stays in the team. And then Delo was one of, if not the best player at the weekend. Really good down that right-hand side, really solid defensively, and obviously did the pullback for the only goal. Was a great passage of play. Now, this is interesting. The midfield is the most interesting part, I think, for me. The most interesting dilemma. I think I'm going to be a little bit hypocritical here. And the most of the time, I always say, if a player plays well, they should be rewarded by starts. So, for example, if a team plays fantastically at the weekend and there's not a game that's like midweek where you have to rotate, the next week the same team should start. And I was completely happy. Everyone was moaning last week about the team that started against Southampton. Everyone was moaning, oh, Ronaldo's not playing. Oh, I can't believe Ronaldo's not playing. Oh, it needs to be changed up. But I was completely happy. Completely happy. I mean, we dominated the game very early on with the team that started against Liverpool. First 15, 20 minutes, we kind of blew them away a bit. And I was happy to keep that team. I think Elanga was brilliant in the first 45 minutes. So I'm happy to play a team that's playing well. I don't want to keep mixing it up just because of who the players are and what they've done for the club in the past. However, having said that, like I said, I'm being hypocritical here because Casemiro goes in. McTominay has been fantastic in the past 2 games, but Casemiro, I want to see him start. I want to see him come in. I think how good McTominay is, especially defensively and dealing with those balls into the box. I don't think Leicester really play that style of play. They don't play constant balls into the box like Southampton have with James Ward-Prowse. Get the ball to him, lump the ball into the box, put a cross in. So Leicester don't really play that way. So McTominay, there's less of a need there for him. So Casemiro from the start. Alongside him, now, a midfield 3 for me can't include Eriksen and Bruno for me. And I would bring in Fred alongside Casemiro for the fact that they play together for Brazil to a large degree of success. I know McTominay has played well, but I think how dynamic Fred is, I think I'd prefer him in there. And Casemiro can take the defensive responsibilities, and in playing as an out and out box to box, I think Fred is much better than McTominay. McTominay's probably got a better shot on him, better long shot, but in terms of the link up play, in terms of the just pass and move football, one touch laying off, I think Fred is is good in that position, and that's what we're seeing for Brazil. We've seen it a few times, a few glimpses for Manchester United, but yeah, that he'd be in there alongside Casemiro for me, and that leaves Eriksen or Bruno. And even though Bruno got the goal, it's good the job that he did, though, to be fair, because he was having one of the worst games I've ever bloody seen. One of the worst games I've ever seen, to be honest, until he got that goal. It was pretty poor. He looked one of United's worst players. So I would go with Eriksen, because Bruno, I do worry about that bloody Hollywood ball all the time. He looks like the Bruno of old. I thought he'd kind of changed his style a little bit, but since the season has started, he's gone back to Hollywood Bruno. In pre-season, he was like doing the simple things. He wasn't trying to be Hollywood Bruno, but at the start of the season, that's what he's gone back to. Even like odd decisions, and with the captain's armband as well. Even odd decisions like taking the free kick off Christian Eriksen. Christian Eriksen, like, this is right at the end of the first half. Bruno takes the free kick. Christian Eriksen is probably the second best free kick taker in the league after James Ward-Prowse, who was on obviously the other team. So like in the game previous to that against Liverpool, Christian Eriksen was really far out, really almost an impossible angle. Everyone thought he was going to cross it, and he shoots and Alisson plucks it out the top corner. Like, that was the perfect position for Eriksen, that free kick. Bruno, captain on his arm, he took it himself and went straight at the wall. Much to the frustration of me. So yeah, I think Eriksen can keep hold of the ball a lot better. I think that can be... I don't think we can dominate a midfield with Bruno being in there, because we can't keep hold of the ball, because he'll just relinquish possession so quickly. So for me, I would love to see us dominate a game. That's something that we haven't seen. Take the lead and then dominate. Kill the game with possession. And I think a midfield of Casemiro, Fred and Eriksen, I think, can keep hold of the ball a lot better, and we could be able to see that. So in terms of the attacking players now, Jadon Sancho on the left hand side. I mean, he was probably our best player in the first half. He was very, very isolated at times, but he showed trickery to get away from players. He looked quite good. Not a lot of end product, but he did progress the ball up the field quite well. I think Rashford was our worst player. I know he was up top, he was isolated at times, and we didn't play to his strengths. However, I've dropped him for Ronaldo. On the basis that we're playing Thursday, Sunday, I'd probably bring Rashford back in. I think that's more the game for him. On the Sunday against Arsenal, and quite honestly, I think if you're gonna start either Ronaldo or Rashford and then bring another player on, I think Rashford's a better player to bring on than Ronaldo, because he's going to stretch the game a bit more. You know, if defenders have got tired legs, I think Rashford's a better player to bring on than Ronaldo. I mean, we saw a fresh-legged Ronaldo get outpaced in the last game by the centre back who hit the. There was just a straight sprint to the ball, and Ronaldo just got outpaced, even though he had fresh legs. But we know Ronaldo's not that mobile. He's a lethal finisher. So I'd play him from the start, and then stretch the game out with Rashford coming on a bit later. And then Elanga, like I said, played really well against Liverpool. Deserved a start for the subsequent game against Southampton. Again, deserves a start. He contributed very, very, very heavily to the goal, the opening goal, the only goal against Southampton. He cut inside, played it to Sancho, who laid it off to Delot. But it was that initial movement by Elanga to cut inside, that positivity to play it to Sancho. He had a heavy involvement in the goal. Those passages of play, those nice little triangles, those quick one-touch passes were few and far between. But still, I'd like to see Elanga in there. And plus, I think this is the game to bring Ronaldo in. There's question marks whether that same fluidity, attacking fluidity will still be there with Ronaldo in the team. Well, this is literally right now the worst team in the Premier League. It's the worst team in the Premier League right now on form. So to kind of see if Ronaldo can play Ten Hag's style, what a game to... He's had enough time now to build his match fitness up. This is a great game to start him for me. And then obviously we can reassess the situation. If he has an absolute blinder, scores 2 or 3 goals, then we can play him against Arsenal and then bring Rashford on after 60-minute mark, because I don't think he can play a full 90 minutes Thursday, Sunday. But if he doesn't, then we can bring Rashford back in. So I think that's the perfect game for Ronaldo to start in. But yeah, I don't think this will be easy at all. I don't think it will be easy considering our history against Leicester. There's been some memorable matches. I believe that was there a 5-3 in there with Di Maria where he chipped it over the keeper. We ended up losing 5-3 in that match. There's obviously, like I said at the start, the last game of the season, the 2-0 win that secured Champions League football for us. But we haven't got a good record. With no winning 5 matches against Leicester in all competitions. So the early goal is important. I think if we do get that, I would love to see another clean sheet. Love to see another clean sheet. So I'm going to go with a prediction of 2-0. And we'll get the first goal within the first 30 minutes. And then hopefully, I would love to see us dominate a game. We just haven't seen that so far, but I'd love to see us. And I think with a midfield of Casemiro, Fred and Eriksen, I think we've got a better chance of keeping hold of the ball and killing the game with possession. Frustrate Leicester. Make them open up a bit more. And then you can get that second goal. So that's what I would like to see. And that's what I'm going to predict is going to happen. I'm going to be positive and predict that is going to happen. But yeah. Apart from that I will be doing a live watch-along on Twitch for the game. So that is going to be starting half an hour before kickoff. So tomorrow on Twitch, 7:30 p.m. I'll be live. I'll be on YouTube straight after that, for the player ratings, the watch-along highlights. Do check out my socials that are down below. And this is a brand new thing for me, being a YouTuber, so I would appreciate any feedback in the comments. And of course, I am on the YouTube grind right now, and you can see you're such a small channel on YouTube, less than 1,000 followers, so subscribers. See, I'm still talking in Twitch language with followers. So if you want to be an OG of the channel, hit that subscribe button, and yeah, you'll get regular content because your boy's a YouTuber now. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll speak to you very, very soon after United's demolition